And now, Signature Dish, a WETA original series.
Today on Signature Dish, it's a plant-based paradise.
After breaking out the big knives.
Oh, wow. Really quite an adventure to go from seeing that enormous jackfruit.
Yeah, it's funny too that we end up here, right?
We'll go big on hearty flavors.
This dish right here usually comes with a lot of different type of beef. This is very hard to replicate.
How would you have any idea that that's not beef?
And feast on a veggie symphony.
This is really kind of a choose-your-own-adventure meal, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
I'm Seth Tillman, WETA producer and DC native, and I love good food.
That's why I'm traveling to restaurants across the DMV. At each stop, looking for the one thing you just gotta try. That signature dish.
We're embarking on this meatless odyssey in Dupont Circle, home to DC Vegan. The restaurant is run by the husband and wife team of Michael and Leah Moon, who followed very different paths on their way to going plant-based.
My vegan journey started about 20 years ago. I'm vegan primarily for the animals. I just wanted to choose a more compassionate path.
I actually went vegan after an especially egregious holiday season, and I had to swear off meat after that.
When I gave up eating animal products, I didn't want to give up the food that I love, the food that I grew up on. So I took a lot of family recipes, a lot of Italian recipes, and in my own kitchen just sort of worked them out without the animal products. So we really focus on approachability, familiar food. We like to say it's food that your Midwestern uncle would love.
DC Vegan began in 2015. We started as a catering company out of a commissary kitchen, and I realized that there wasn't a whole lot of plant-based catering available in the region. So ironically, we feed mainly non-vegan. So we get folks that might have a seafood allergy or a lactose allergy, maybe their vegan friend's birthday, and we get a group of those folks in.
In 2021, DC Vegan opened their Dupont brick and mortar. First as a deli, but quickly realized there was a hunger for more.
We had folks coming in and they wanted that full service experience with the servers and dinner entrees.
So there is a large and vibrant vegan community here in DC, a lot organized around activism, a lot around animal welfare. There's a long history here of vegan soul food originating in the Afro-vegan community, and we're just so grateful for those roots that are here, that beautiful, beautiful food that's here, and we're just kind of making our contribution to it.
Michael.
Seth.
Good to meet you.
Welcome in.
Oh, got some monster fruit or vegetable right here on the board.
Yes.
What are you making today?
So we're making our Philly jackfruit, which is a vegan take on the Philly cheesesteak, but of course we're gonna use jackfruit today.
Well, I've seen jackfruit on a lot of menus, but I never actually stopped to think about what they look like. My goodness.
So this is the jackfruit in its original form. This is a tropical fruit. Find them in India, Philippines, one of the largest tree-growing fruits.
So even though you're a vegan restaurant, we get to do a little butchering here today with
We're gonna butcher some fruit.
Let's give it a rip and see.
Okay, jackfruit basically comes in two forms. So this is the sweeter version of the fruit. So this is the ripe version. This is usually used for like desserts, ice creams, things like that. We're using like the canned version, which is usually for like plant-based meat.
And it has a texture inside that's gonna be sort of similar to
I would say it's kind of like
meat.
a pulled pork.
You can do it. You can do it, Michael.
This thing is no joke.
Wow. I've seen Chef butcher a whole tuna, and I think that looked easier than cutting open a
Yeah.
jackfruit.
Try this again, okay? The
You can
big
do it.
reveal.
Oh. Wow.
So there it is, and essentially we've got these pods here of fruit that are sort of tucked in here. We have this huge jackfruit, but we're probably gonna get about a bowl of fruit out of here.
And these little orange pieces here, that's the flesh?
Yeah, gonna sort of take these apart here, and then we've got the fruit.
I can see how stringy it is, how it pulls
Yeah,
apart.
it's really sticky. It's more the texture.
I'm gonna try some raw
I'm gonna
jackfruit.
try some with you.
That is sweet, and it's definitely got a nice, dense texture and flavor to it.
Ooh, I could snack on this all day.
It's so good. So as you can imagine, this isn't the most practical way for us to make the jackfruit. So we actually get the jackfruit in food service packaging. Again, we're using the jackfruit that is the less ripe. So what we do when we get the jackfruit, saute up some onions, brine it, season it up. We braise it for 2 to 3 hours. We smoke it. So when it's done with the braising, this is what it looks like.
And it looks like I'm looking into a pan full of stewed meat right here.
Totally different experience.
That nice braising liquid, nice and moist, but the texture just pulls apart just the way.
It's gonna be like a pulled pork.
Fascinating. No wonder that jackfruit is such a popular fruit to use for vegan
I mean,
dishes.
it's interesting to go from this to this.
All right, so we got the substitute steak, but cheesesteak, obviously. We need cheese, and I'm always a little skeptical about vegan cheese. So how do you guys do it here?
So we've got our seasonings here. And of course, we're gonna start with some cashews.
Okay, I do like cashews.
These are raw cashews. They're gonna be a little softer so that they can go into the blender. So we've got the nutritional yeast. We're gonna add a little salt. We're gonna add a little paprika, garlic powder, turmeric.
Turmeric is important, right? Because you want this to look like Cheese Whiz when you're done, if it's a Philly
It's
cheesesteak.
gotta have the beautiful color, right? So we've got onion powder, lemon juice, some oil.
You are not skimping on the seasonings
We're
here.
now, we got some chili powder. And then this is our secret seasoning here, which I can't share with you. All right, so we're just gonna start blending this up here. So there's one more step. We're actually gonna cold smoke the cheese. And when we finish, this is what it looks like.
Beautiful. And between all the seasonings and the smoking, we're really taking a vegan cheese and vegan meat to the next level here.
This is next level. So next I'm gonna go over to the flat top. I'm gonna take some peppers and onions, some jackfruit. I'm gonna toast off some bread, hit it with some garlic aioli, add the fixings, and then we're gonna finish it off with the cheese sauce. And then we've got our Philly jackfruit.
All right, Mike, Leah, I am excited to try this Philly jackfruit sandwich.
Pro tip, we like to take it, pat it down a little with the fork so you can get the good bite here.
All right.
And I will cut a piece for Leah and I here.
All right, well, here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Never gets old.
No.
That's a knockout.
Good.
You know, didn't fully know what to expect, but you really can taste the flavors of the braising liquid, pick up some of that wine that was used, and the cheese has that nice sort of nutty flavor. I think all that seasoning and spices really brings it out. And a little garlic as well.
A little garlic aioli on the bun.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This gives it some dimension, some depth.
And besides the peppers and the onions, there's a little bit of, just a hint of smoke that carries through as well.
Yeah.
I guess from the cheese and from the jackfruit.
Yeah.
Really quite an adventure to go from seeing that enormous jackfruit
Yeah, it's funny too that we end up here. Right?
with something so
a
familiar and
journey.
delicious. And the cheese as well. I mean, I know it's such a cliche at this point to say it, but obviously that was just a holdup for so many people who are skeptical about a plant-based diet.
Right, right, right. And so here we've got some of the cheeses from our cheese shop. We've got a tomato and herb fromage, as well as a Colby Jack cheese.
So this is a little
Right here.
vegan charcuterie plate right here.
Yes.
All right, and this actually just looks quite a bit like what I would think of as just cheese.
Right, they're cultured and aged. The same process that goes into making traditional cheese is what we use here.
When you started this journey, I'm guessing there weren't as many options available to
There
you.
were not as many options, and the options that were there, frankly, weren't that great. So we're just so thrilled to be kind of at the forefront of this. And really, the world is exploding when it comes to vegan cheeses.
And so in your shop, are you seeing more vegans, more non-vegans? I mean, what's the kind of mix of people who come in here?
We've got a lot of vegans, but we also just have a lot of omnivores that come that just like good food or just eat a plant-based meal every now and then. And it's not as sort of bifurcated as it used to be. People are just incorporating plant-based eating into their everyday lives, and we love being a part of that.
So you can just kind of gradually nudge yourself along on the journey.
Sure.
Don't have to go cold turkey,
No.
but can come here
Yeah.
and have a dynamite Philly cheesesteak. Thanks so much to both of you.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us.
Next up is a visit to Falls Church, Virginia. Just off Columbia Pike and a short hop from Lake Barcroft, is Chay. The celebrated restaurant offers top-notch Vietnamese fare with spot-on substitutes for meat.
Lúc tôi còn trẻ, 22 tuổi là tôi có một cái nhà hàng phở bên Việt Nam và tôi bán cũng 15 năm. Trong quá trình mà tôi tiếp xúc với thịt bò, thịt heo thì quá dài, tôi không có còn thích thịt nữa. Khi là tôi chuyển hướng ăn chay.
Chef Lan opened Chay with her husband, T. Lee. To pull off a vegan menu, she makes all of her own proprietary proteins in-house, using soy, mushrooms, and other familiar veggies, experimenting with fermentation and a variety of cooking techniques.
We just want to replicate the vegetarian menu to the regular traditional Vietnamese menu. She's just amazing. Her talent is second to none. And all these dishes that she created just came straight out of her head and just magical.
Tôi rất là đam mê, kiểu như là mình lúc nào mình cũng có một trong đầu sáng tạo đưa ra những cái món lạ mà ngon, tốt cho sức khỏe.
Well, the response for our restaurant has been amazing. People coming up thanking us for opening the restaurant. People come in here, they're not vegetarian, and they say they're not missing the meat at all. We have a huge Vietnamese community in this area, and they've been very encouraging and just keep us going.
I'm off to Chay to meet Chef Lan and try a hearty Vietnamese soup that is traditionally overloaded with meat.
Lan, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable spread of ingredients here. What are you cooking up today?
Hôm nay tôi sẽ nấu cái món trình bày những cái món bò Quế. Tôi là người miền Trung. Cái món bún bò Quế là đặc sản của miền Trung Việt Nam. Ở Việt Nam người ta nấu là từ xương thịt ra cái món bún bò Quế.
So we're recreating the flavor of meat, but doing it all with just fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
So to put this dish together, I also see a giant stock pot. Is this where you're making the broth for the dish?
Cái món bún bò Quế này nấu từ nước súp này qua cái nước súp này. Đầu tiên là có sả, là gừng, mình cho thơm, cho cái thơm vào.
No shortage of flavor going in there. Oh, already starting to get a really nice aroma.
Là quế, này đinh hương, và cho nó thơm hơn. Xong bắt đầu mình cho đường phèn nâu.
After adding aromatics to the broth, Lan begins work on the seasoning paste.
Đây là tỏi, bỏ vô cho nó thơm. Đi thắng tỏi này cho cái mùi nó thơm lên, tỏi nó vàng.
It's certainly bringing out the aromas, I'll tell you that.
Cho cái gia vị này vào. Này làm từ cái trái ớt đỏ, ớt chua, cho có cái màu nó đẹp hơn.
Spicy, garlicky, love it.
Cái này cái đậu nành lên men để cho có cái mùi nó đặc biệt hơn trong cái nước bún bò Quế này.
So you get a little bit of funkiness, a little body.
Đây từ nước mắm này nấu từ trái thơm.
It's immediately transforming the color of that broth. Such a beautiful color already.
Cái này chiết xuất từ tàu phu, mình nên sấy khô đi, ra được cái sản phẩm này, làm cho cái thay thế cho cái lon bò. Mình phải còn cho củ cải trắng vào, tiếp tục cho cà rốt. Okay, wanna help me lấy nhìn.
This is one of the meats that's going in the dish?
Đây là đạm chiết có giống như thịt, thay thế cho thịt bò. Món này chiết xuất từ tàu phu mà sấy khô xong đem ngâm nước xong rồi xào sơ. Con xin mời Seth dùng thử.
I'm always amazed at what can be done with tofu in the right hands.
Khi nước bắt đầu sôi lên, cho cái hạt nêm của vegetable. Cái đây hạt nêm chiết xuất từ nấm đông cô.
All right, this is already looking nice and hearty.
With all of the flavorings added, Lan leaves the soup to simmer for 30 minutes. To finish the dish, she adds the noodles and 3 more types of faux meat. She then ladles in the soup and garnishes with herbs, onions, and one final dollop of the soybean paste.
All right, Chef T, beautiful colors all over the table. Incredible aroma. Should I dig in or should I add a few toppings first?
You should add a little bit of topping. These are Thai basil.
little basil, a little cabbage, cilantro.
Cabbage, cilantro.
A little squeeze of lime, perhaps,
Yes,
as well? Okay.
yes.
Outstanding. The lemongrass really perfumes the soup really nicely.
Yeah.
A little bit of funk with that fermented soybean paste. Looks like a little sausage here. This is a hearty, comforting bowl of soup. So much meaty flavor in this, and I still haven't even had the noodles. What kind of noodles are these, chef?
Nó là chiết xuất từ gạo.
They have a little bit of a nice chew to them as well.
This dish right here, bún bò Huế, usually it comes with a lots of different type of beef, oxtail, lots of bone.
There's a lot of creativity needed to be able to replicate these flavors, to make it taste like something you might experience in Vietnam, but without any of the meat.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's just very hard to replicate a plant-based product. She did a perfect job.
And I like too that it's a spicy noodle dish, but it's got a nice gentle kick, not overpowering you with any spice.
Try this homemade hot sauce. Those are Thai chili pepper, habanero, ghost pepper, and Carolina Reaper.
Those are a bunch of pretty strong peppers you're naming right there. Am I going to regret this? Mix it around just a little bit just to be safe.
Yes, yes.
Cái món ớt này anh Thi làm rất là ngon.
Well, a little of that goes a long, long way.
Ngon.
This just went from a nice, comforting beef soup to something a lot more powerful and a lot spicier. And besides this dish, tons of other beautiful colors and textures on this table, including something that looks like it absolutely has to be beef, but obviously I know it's not.
Yes, it's shaky beef. It's one of our best sellers in the restaurant right now.
How would you have any idea that that's not beef? Nice little sticky soy glaze on that, some sweetness, but that texture, you'd have no idea.
Như là làm từ tofu, đậu đỏ, nước tương, nước mắm, dầu mè để ra được cái nước sốt.
Well, you're something of a magician, chef, because this is, I think, what everyone's craving. Things that feel like meat, but don't feel like they were grown in a lab. Just taking tofu, vegetables,
Yeah.
proteins, mixing them, and not just replicating the flavors, but maybe even exceeding them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My last stop is just a few miles further south in Alexandria. In a strip mall facing South Van Dorn Street, you'll find Feru Bar and Restaurant. The Ethiopian eatery's name is the nickname for chef and owner Frehawat Bareka.
I'm from Ethiopia. I came here 2008. I was a traditional dancer. I came here to perform. So the DMV, it's a lot of Ethiopian population here. It feels at home, actually. That's why I decided to stay.
In the kitchen, Chef Feru has teamed up with her mother, Abayesh, a veteran cook in her own right and an expert on preparing Ethiopian coffee.
My mom used to teach me how to cook, how to serve. She got it from her mom, and then I got it from her. But in the middle of my life, I was a dancer, so never cooked. But when I came here, I started thinking and reading her recipe and doing at home.
While Feru also serves meat, the restaurant offers a bounty of colorful vegan dishes.
I'm Orthodox Christian, so we fast 211 days out of the year. And then when we break our fasting, we become vegan. We eat veggie. My people, they are meat lovers. So I want to introduce more healthy and natural dishes for everyone. We eat together. We eat it with your hands. We connect. We talked about our days. I like to serve people. I like to cook. I like to mix drinks. I engage with people. I told my story, and then I told my culture. So I just don't serve and then go away. So I explain the food. I explain where I came here. It's like performing myself.
Feru,
Hi.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I am excited for a veggie feast. What are you making today?
So we are going to make a signature mushroom kitfo, and then we're gonna eat it with the vegetarian platter. Kitfo, it's based on beef, very popular in Ethiopia. But in this case, we're gonna do the vegan mushroom kitfo.
So no butter, no
No
meat?
butter, we're gonna use oil, and then all vegan.
And the mushrooms are gonna give you that nice meaty texture that you're looking for?
Yes.
All right, so how do you get started on this dish?
All right, this is the oil we use. And then we use fresh rosemary and the onion. So I'm cooking the onions.
And the rosemary is releasing an incredible aroma.
And then now we're gonna add the white mushrooms. And then we're gonna add the chili powder.
So a lot of the spices that you're using would be the same as in a regular meat kitfo?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then a black cardamom.
A lot of good spices going
So
in.
this is the spice my mom gave it to me.
Got it. So this is Mom's secret spice recipe?
Yes.
This is, everyone's got to have their own
Yes.
secret spice
Yes,
recipe.
Yes.
You're not giving up any of those spices?
Yes, I won't. And I can tell you this is garlic. We add garlics, and we do a little bit soya sauce.
Soy sauce, gonna give it a little fuller body as well?
Yes, it does. We don't want to overcook the mushroom, so we're gonna just the heat, and then it's gonna simmer.
It's always amazing to me when you start cooking mushrooms. It
Yeah.
starts with so much,
Yeah.
and you're left with so little, but I guess that's all those flavors concentrating in there.
Yes. We love spicy, so we're gonna add more spicier jalapeno.
Just a little bit of spice going.
Yes.
All right, well, I like medium spicy food.
Okay.
So we'll see how this goes.
Sure. All right. The sim's ready now, so.
That was awfully quick.
Yes.
Just amazing how we're able to transform some plain old mushrooms into a beautiful looking stew.
Yes, so this is the mushroom kitfo. Then we're gonna build the veggie platter. And while we're doing that, my mom, she's gonna prepare Ethiopian coffee.
Ooh, that sounds really good. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
To begin preparing the Ethiopian coffee, Abayesh starts with roasting the fresh coffee beans before grinding them and adding them along with spices to the jebena to brew.
So now we're gonna build our vegetarian platters. So we're gonna start with the mushroom kitfo.
All right, and I can tell there's a lot more beautiful colors here on the table.
This is the spicy lentils. We call it Chay misir, just spicy. This is the yellow split beans. We call it kkalija. So it's not spicy. We use turmeric for this. This is the green beans and carrots. This is the collard greens.
All these are vegan, no?
Yeah, all vegan. And then this is the potato, carrots, and the cabbage. This is the beets. We call it kaysir in Amharic. So this is the shiro, the chickpeas. We use the mild spicy sauce.
All right. Chef, this platter is just loaded up to the brim. And I've had Ethiopian food, so at least I'm a little familiar with injera, but it looks like maybe we have two different types of it over here.
Yes. So that's the gluten-free injera. It's F, 100%. Yeah.
And so this one has a little bit of a flour in it as
Flour,
well.
white flour, rice.
All right, and what do people in the restaurant generally prefer?
They prefer that F injera 100%.
Oh, right. So this is gonna be gluten-free and vegan. All right,
Yeah.
so should I just tear a piece and go for it?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Well, I've got to start with the kitfo. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That is a 10 out of 10. It's meaty, but you still get the flavor of the mushrooms. The rosemary has imparted such a wonderful flavor to it. It's not too spicy.
It's not.
So is there any shame in making flavor combinations, like combining the kitfo with anything else?
So we can combine the kitfo with collard greens, which is the gomen.
Okay. Because this is really kind of a choose your own adventure meal, right? Go
Yes.
anywhere you want.
Uh-huh.
Delicious. But I do need a little bit of spice.
Okay.
Have these lentils look nice and red
Yes,
and a
go
little bit
ahead.
fiery. Oh boy. Spicy, not too spicy.
Yeah.
But like everything else, it's just tons of vibrant flavors. The spices, you can just tell how fresh they are. And for you, eating plant-based foods, this isn't a fad or a hobby. I mean, this is very integral to your experience, right?
Yeah, so as an Orthodox Christian, so we like to fast. For example, the past Christmas, we fast for 40 days. When
quite a
we
bit.
break our fasting, we like to have the veggie and the vegan platter.
Wow, okay. And oh, it looks like we've got one more addition to the meal here.
This is main thing of our coffee ceremony.
Oh, wow, these incense.
This is a big part of our culture, the coffee, the tea.
I'm so used to starting my day with a cup of coffee, but this is a post-meal thing.
Yeah, so we do after meal because we need time to talk. So some people do with the sugar and the salt and then even the butter.
Butter coffee.
Yes, but I prefer with sugar. And then while we're doing the coffee, you know, we talk about day, you know, our problems.
All right, well, this definitely has to cool down.
But Abhay, what's it been like for you to watch your daughter carrying on some of the recipes that you taught her?
ያው ደስ ይለኛል። ኢትዮጵያኔም ባርና ሬስቶራንት አለኝ። ከ10 ዓመቷ ጀምሮ ሙያ እያስለመድኳት ነበር ያደገችው። እሷም ያው የኛን የቤተሰቦቿን ነው የወረሰችው። ይሄ ትንሽ ነገር ብዬ ነው ማስበው እኔ።
I can only imagine. And one thing that I've always enjoyed about Ethiopian dining, Ethiopian experiences, is it's just so communal. Everything is shared. There's so much ceremony involved.
አንድ ላይ መብላት በባህላችን አንድ ላይ መብላት ፍቅር ይሰጣል። ፍቅር፣ ቤተሰብነት፣ መግባባትን ይሰጣል። አንድ ሰው ምግብ ሲበላ ብቻውን ምግብ አይበላም። እንብላ ይላል። እንብላ ፍቅር ነው፣ ሰላም ነው፣ መግባባት ነው፣ መተሳሰብ ነው።
Well, that's beautiful. And I'm guessing the coffee, it might have cooled down enough.
Yes, now you can have.
that I can consume it. Here we go.
Okay. Yes.
Nice and strong.
Yeah.
The coffee, just like the vegetables, bold and fresh flavors. Everything here has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for welcoming me into this space.
Thanks for coming.
To find out more about great food in the Washington metro area, visit weta.org/signature dish.